Clearly, she's a fat, ugly woman. Yet she's being desperately fawned over by handsome men. It's not that they are completely blind, or have some special fetish. It's that here, as soon as a female comes of age, she's forcibly assigned an unlimited number of husbands. But because the woman is fat and ugly, the husbands just can't bring themselves to do it. So, I haven't touched him in 3 years of marriage. But the woman wants to be a bride every day, and fight 10 husbands in one night. With the spirit of a dead pig not afraid of boiling water. She wanted to force a wedding night. This made the beast husbands increasingly disgusted with her. They would rather die outside than go home. The woman resented this. She seized an opportunity to give one of them. Black Panther beast husband drugs him, hoping to ignite the flames of love with this. At this moment, Xiao Yang, Yinshan Lanlu, is tied to the bed. He can't wait to strangle this dead fat pig in front of him. But due to the effect of the drug, his breathing becomes more and more rapid. Looking at the woman's ugly fat face in the mirror, he also finds her quite attractive. Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore and broke free from the chains. Reversing the situation, he pinned the woman to the ground. It was at this moment that Shen Tang transmigrated into the original owner's body. In a panic, he cried out and struck the other party's vital point. It was a big wall lamp. Xiao Yang immediately curled up in pain. In that instant, he seemed to see something terrible, and Shen Tang took the opportunity to run out quickly. He followed his memory to Villa number 1, but what he saw next almost made him vomit his bile. The place was piled high with garbage. White maggots crawled in the leftovers. He resisted the urge to vomit, and cleaned the room inside and out. When I walked into the bathroom wanting to take a shower, I was immediately stunned by my appearance in the mirror. My hair was a mess, as if it hadn't been washed in years. I had at least 300 pounds of fat on my body, and with a casual rub, I could rub off dust balls the size of eggs. My greasy, fat face was covered in pustules. My teeth were crooked and a disgusting yellow. This time, Shen Tang really couldn't take it anymore. He went straight to the toilet and threw up like there was no tomorrow. He was disgusted with himself. And just then, a system prompt suddenly popped up in his mind. Congratulations, host, you have successfully bound to the handsome man system. As long as you complete the task, you can improve your appearance and increase your personal charm. If I complete all the targets, I can return to my original world and receive an inexhaustible fortune. And the targets are his 5 character slaves. For Shen Tang, this is exactly what he needs right now. Not only can I become beautiful, but I can also conquer handsome guys and return to Earth. System. The beginner gift pack includes an antidote pill. Its function is to remove toxins from the body and prevent the body from further deteriorating. Soon after Shen Tang took it, a sticky black substance oozed from his pores. He endured the nausea and scrubbed for 5 hours before finally washing it off. At this moment, he looked in the mirror. After detoxification, the pimples on his face were no longer rogue. It doesn't feel prickly like a needle. I thought as long as he completes his mission, he can return to normal. It turns out the original owner was a noble princess of the empire, and she was matched with 5 top consorts. But on the wedding day, she learned that she was an imposter princess who had been switched at birth. The queen, to her biological daughter, who had just been brought home. Feeling guilty, she gave him all the good things, and the original owner, because of this, began to target him frantically. She even secretly colluded with the enemy to try to kill him. In the end, the queen threw her into this exile. Her 5 consorts were also convicted and exiled together. From then on, the original owner began to give up on herself. I became lazy, ugly, and irritable, so I vented all my resentment on him. Later, due to excessive drug use, I was killed directly by Xiao Yang. He must not repeat the original owner's mistakes. At night, he lay in bed, unable to fall asleep. Suddenly, footsteps came from outside. He looked out the window. Speaking of prejudice, a figure is walking this way. It is one of his lovers. Shen Yang's submissive state is Crimson Tiger. After recalling the original owner's memories, he realizes this lover is an adopted brother. They grew up together, like childhood sweethearts. Currently, his aversion to him is the lowest. He should be the easiest to win over among the 5 lovers. At this moment, Shen Yi felt disgusted at the thought of seeing that annoying, dirty female again. He braced himself, and was about to knock, when the door opened from the inside. When Shen Tang saw the handsome man in front of her, she was completely stunned. Growing up, this is the first time I've seen such a handsome man. Seeing her infatuated look, Shen Yejian felt even less disgusted. He was about to mock her, but suddenly realized something was wrong. The female in front of him was still fat and ugly, but she looked much cleaner. The usual stench is gone. I can even smell a faint fragrance. What the hell? This female actually took a bath. A hint of shock flashed in Shen Yi's eyes. He subconsciously looked into the house. He noticed the garbage, which was previously swarming with insects, had also been cleaned up. He seriously doubted if he was in the wrong place. Shen Tang was also a little uneasy about the man's unexpected visit. Do you need something? Shen Yi then came back to his senses. He came to remind Shen Tang to be well behaved today. Recently, a large number of unknown contaminated creatures have appeared outside the city. They can even transform into the appearance of beastmen, making it impossible to defend against. Many orcs have been murdered these days. Make sure to wait until the signal tower sounds before going out. I know. Thank you, Shen Tang. Just a casual remark made the man freeze instantly. This fat and lazy vicious female would actually say thank you to someone. He was increasingly suspicious that he was dreaming today. He said, "You're welcome," quietly. After giving Shen Tang a strange look, he hurried away. Shen Tang also closed the door and went back to sleep. At this moment, the system's broadcast sounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the first mission. The male lead, Shen Yi, has a favorable impression and a current aversion value of 50. Reward, a bottle of beauty balm. Please check it yourself, host. Shen Tang didn't expect it to be so easy. After all, he didn't do anything. He only said a couple of words. According to the system's prompt, he applied the beauty balm to his body. 8 hours later, it can make the skin delicate and smooth. The next morning, Shen Tang couldn't wait to look in the mirror, only to see on her face, many small pimples on her face and body had disappeared. Her skin had also become cleaner and fairer. Shen Tang was delighted, and this was only using 1/3 of the skin cream. The effect is quite satisfactory. I believe with 2 more uses, my skin will definitely return to normal, but I can't rush it. According to the system's prompts, using it once every 3 days is best. Around 10 a.m., Shen Tang, I heard a melodious whistle outside. The information tower released a safety signal to the replicants in the city. They can move freely within the city. He needs to find something to eat. There's nothing in the fridge but a bottle of nutrient fluid. Supplies are scarce here. Most replicants won't pay the high prices. We can only drink nutrient solution to fill our stomachs. Shen Tang spat it out after only taking 1 sip. As a native earthling, I really can't drink this stuff. I just arrived at the market, and I heard a disdainful taunt from behind me. Yo-yo. Who is this? Don't tell me Xiaoyang and the others don't care about you. I have to come out and buy ingredients myself. It's a disgrace to us females. The person coming is the city lord's daughter, and Bei. Because of her youth and beauty, she is extremely popular in the city. But what she wants most are the original owner's 5 male consorts. So she occasionally comes to kick me when I'm down. Shen Tang doesn't want to get into a conflict with her. Just pretend you didn't hear. Seeing this, Amber was furious. This ugly fat woman. Does she still think she's a pampered princess in the palace? Ignoring him, just as he was about to burst into abuse, his eyes suddenly lit up. She immediately put on a gentle, shy, and bashful maidenly look. Brother Lu Xiao, you're back. Shen Tang straightened up slightly upon hearing this name. Lu Xiao was one of the original host's lovers. His suffering state was as a hunting falcon, serving to atone for his sins. He held the position of captain in the city patrol team. Turning around, he saw an army lined up on both sides of the road. A particularly tall and stalwart figure emerged from within. Sunlight fell on his smart uniform, making him look particularly dazzling. When he passed by Shen Tang, his eyes didn't linger on him at all. Seeing this scene, Abe didn't even bother to pretend anymore. He stepped forward and shoved Shen Tang hard. A worthless ugly thing. If you know what's good for you, get a divorce. Stop clinging to brother Lu Xiao. The surrounding passers-by also joined in the heckling. That's right, that's right. How could this ugly woman be worthy of Captain Lu Xiao? It's like a toad trying to eat swan meat. Shen Tangqi's whole body was trembling. He never thought he would be so humiliated in public. Lu Xiao, who had already walked away, suddenly heard a roar behind him. He turned around and saw a group of people pointing at a female. Gossiping. The harsh words made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Lu Xiao wasn't one to meddle in other people's business. He raised his foot to leave, but upon hearing the name Shen Tang, his heart gave a jolt. He fixed his gaze on the obese female, scrutinizing her. Then, a trace of realization flashed in his eyes. He almost forgot what his nominal partner looked like. He hasn't been home in a long time. He only remembers Shen Tang being fat and ugly, and incredibly sloppy, but the woman before him is much cleaner and neater. At least she doesn't make people feel disgusted. He couldn't help but walk towards her, and ordered the onlookers to leave immediately. As the captain of the patrol team, Lu Xiao has a high reputation. The onlookers scattered like rats. They dispersed in an instant. When Abe saw Lu Xiao coming, he was overjoyed. He quickly raised his voice, and called out in a delicate voice, "Brother Lu Xiao." But he didn't even look at him. Instead, he walked straight to Shen Tang. "What are you doing out here?" Shen Tang recalled the original owner's suicidal behavior, biting his lip. "I want to buy some meat. There's no food at home." Lu Xiaowen frowned upon hearing this. He turned to look at the meat stall. He found that the fresh meat had already been picked over by the nobles. All that's left are scraps. The other members of the patrol team also felt strange. Although this ugly fat woman was indeed unlikable, she was, after all, a valuable CI. How could she be so hungry that she had no food? Didn't any males in her family care about her? Lu Xiao looked at his team members, and instructed them to give her the evolved lean meat they hunted today. He looked at Shen Tang, who was so fat. His body, which was already panting after a few steps, paused. Then he changed his mind and said to deliver it directly to his house. Shen Tang watched them. They really brought a large piece of fresh lean meat. A trace of gratitude flashed in her eyes. Thank you. When I make the broth, I'll send you a portion. Lu Xiao's expression was strange. He didn't expect Shen Tang to show gratitude. I didn't expect him to offer to bring him broth. When did this woman become so nice? But then he remembered yesterday, the rumor that Shen Tang drugged Xiao Yang. His face instantly turned cold. No, thank you. I have patrol duties. I'll go first. He finished speaking and strode away with his team. Shen Tang felt inexplicably confused. How can this person change their face so fast? I can't find a way to get close. I can't even offer some flattery. How should I win him over? Abe, who was watching, looked terrible. Wasn't it said that Shen Tang had a bad relationship with the Shufus? Why does this ugly and lazy woman get Lu Xiao's attention? Meanwhile, the system's voice rang in Shen Tang's mind. Congratulations, host. Male lead Lu Xiao's favorability has reached 20, and his current aversion is 60. Reward, a single weight loss pill. Upon hearing the reward, Shen Tang was overjoyed, but fearing that others would notice, he quickly suppressed the corners of his lips. A skinny man from the Lu Xiao sect delivered fresh lean meat to Shen Tang's house. As soon as the skinny man left, Shen Tang couldn't wait to take the weight loss pill. The weight loss pill could reduce his weight by 30 to 50 pounds, based on his physique. The function takes effect in 10 minutes. Before long, and secreted a lot of dark yellow oil, but he took a shower, and immediately felt a lot lighter. The system's voice sounded, congratulations, host. Successfully lost 45 pounds. Appearance value +6. Shen Tang looked in the mirror. Because the original owner's weight was too high, so losing 40 or 50 pounds doesn't make much of a difference. But the layers of fat around my waist are not as exaggerated. My stomach rumbles with hunger. The meat that Lu Xiao sent is enough for me to eat for a week. I cut off a piece to make soup, and put the rest in the refrigerator for storage. Soon the pot was steaming with heat. I opened the lid and took a sip, but there were no seasonings. He only added ordinary oil and salt. Although it tastes a bit bland, it's definitely better than nutrient solution. After filling himself up, he ladled several bowls into insulated containers to take to the elders, but he felt a little uneasy, especially when he thought of Xiao Yang. That man wants to kill him now. He doesn't dare to see him. And Lu Xiao, he should still be patrolling outside the city at this time. So, after thinking about it, he decided to go to Fox first. He walked through several streets before finally finding Shen Yi's house. The husbands moved out of the residence after falling out with the original owner, purchased other properties. He stood at the door, anxiously knocking, but there was no response. After hesitating for a moment, he directly pressed the pupil scanning device at the door. This owner has permission to enter Sufu's residence, so he can open the door without a key. He pushed the door open and just walked into the living room, but I ran into Shen Yi, who had just finished showering, with only a towel around his waist. He was drying his hair with a towel. He was instantly stunned when he saw Shen Tang barging in. The man's wet red hair was messily plastered on his back. Water droplets slid across his chest. Shen Tang was momentarily mesmerized by his muscular and powerful physique. You could even hear the sound of swallowing saliva. Seeing this, Shen Yi gritted his teeth and roared, Shen Tang, are you looking for death? I'm leaving now. Shen Tang came back to his senses and turned around to run. He was panting heavily after running outside the door. The fat on his body was trembling. He didn't forget. The original owner often had a crush on Master Shen, relying on the fact that they were siblings. From the same parents, she often peeped at him while he was taking a bath. If it weren't for her status as a princess, she would have secretly killed him long ago. Before long, a cold, icy voice came from the room. Shen Tang composed himself and pushed the door open. He saw Shen Yi had already wrapped himself up tightly, carefully guarding against a notorious pervert. Shen Tang twitched his lips at the sight. Was he that thirsty? He took out a lunchbox and said gently, this is meat soup I made. I brought it for you to try. Hearing this, Shen Yi was instantly stunned. Has the sun risen in the west? This fat woman actually made soup. Is she planning to drug him again, for a second time? Shen Tang saw that he didn't speak, and her heart was filled with some anticipation that you often don't like the taste. This is the first time I've cooked. It might not be very good. Disgust flashed in Master Shen's eyes. Although he accepted the lunchbox, Shen Tang could tell he didn't plan to eat it. Shen Tang didn't care either. Anyway, she delivered his warmth home. It's this dog man's misfortune that he can't taste her cooking. He opened his mouth after a moment. I came here today. There is indeed one more thing I want to ask you for. Hearing this, Shen Yi looked like he expected it. His tone became more sarcastic. What do you want me to do for you again? Shen Tang felt uncomfortable hearing his tone, but considering she needed his help, she softened her voice. I want to ask you to help me find some seasonings. I can't buy them at the market in the city. I was wondering if you have any connections in that area. In return, every time I create a new dish, I'll send you a portion. Master Shen was quite surprised. This fat woman used to be like a parasite. lying at home, waiting for them to feed her. Did you change your personality today? But remembering the stupid things this woman used to do, I think it's impossible. Now it's not like in the palace, where polluted land and food are precious. It's not for you to practice and waste. Shen Tang stared at Deng Yuan, indicating that I was serious, afraid he would be unlucky. She uncovered the lunchbox and took a spoonful of soup to him. Try it if you don't believe me. The aroma of meat made Shen Yi unable to stop salivating. Could it really be something he made himself? Before he could speak, Shen Tang urged, hurry up and try it. The soup will get cold. Shen Yi was confident that this female didn't have the guts to play tricks under his nose. If he really dares to drug me, I'll send him to see Aunt Beast on the spot. He only tasted one sip all night. A flash of surprise quickly crossed his eyes. The soup is rich, and the lean meat is stewed until it's soft and flavorful. He also came from the palace. What 5-star chef's food hasn't he eaten? But this broth is actually as good as the imperial chef's. This makes him even more certain that Shen Tang didn't make it. If that fatty knew how to cook, pigs would fly. He drank the whole pot of broth without leaving a drop, still wanting more. I'll help you find the spices. He wants to see for himself what other tricks she can play. Hearing that, Shen Tang laughed happily, just a smile, revealing his crooked and rotten teeth. It was terribly ugly, making people want to pull them all out. Shen Yi turned his head away, full of disgust. Shut your mouth. Shen Tang's mouth twitched wildly, feeling worried. Why didn't I notice it before? This fox also has a sharp tongue. Shen Yi then turned his gaze to Shen Tang's face. It's been a long time since he's properly looked at the woman in front of him. Only then did he notice that she had fewer pimples on her face. Maybe it's just my imagination. George seems to have lost a little weight too. Thinking of this, his face darkened again. I must have been out of my mind. How did I end up with this fat pig? Shen Tang suddenly felt a chill. It was like being watched by a beast. Master Shen glanced at him, and said with disgust as he walked, eat less in the future. If you get too fat to walk one day, no one will carry you. Shen Tang gritted his teeth. I was secretly cursing in my heart. Would it kill this damn man to say less? He was afraid of being infuriated to death by this fox. So he quickly turned around and left. Just as he stepped out of the room, he heard the system notification. Congratulations, host. Male lead Shen Yi's favorability increased by 20. Shen Tang immediately beamed with joy. Who knew that dead fox despised it so much? And my favorability increased. Looks like he was conquered by my cooking. As long as he butters me up enough, I don't believe I can't win over these 5 tough nuts. Next, I need to go to the Merfolk Duke, Fred's residence. He's the Merfolk Prince of the Landis Empire Alliance. Ryder wanted to stay away from him. I specifically moved my residence to the northernmost part of the city. The two places are nearly 10 li apart. Shen Tang's legs are about to give out after walking all the way here. This time, he didn't dare to take liberties again. He cautiously rang the doorbell instead of barging into a private residence. The one who opened the door was an elegant and refined man. His appearance was cold and beautiful, as perfect as an ancient Greek sculpture. However, his collar was disheveled, and a red mark was vaguely visible on his neck, as if he had just experienced a passionate love affair. Shen Tang was strong and slightly assertive. But before he could speak, the other person spoke first with a look of disgust. Who told you to come here? This is... A charming voice came from behind the man. Honey, who are you talking to? Then a beautiful woman in a jade robe walked over. The woman was startled when she saw Shen Tang's appearance. Where did this scavenger come from? What are you doing in front of our door? Then she slapped her forehead, as if she remembered something. With a fake apology on my face, oh right, I remember. You're Alay's wife, Miss Shen Tang, right? I'm sorry, I thought you were a scavenging beggar. Shen Tang's face looked a little ugly. This is her husband. Why is he with other females? Later couldn't hide his disgust at Shen Tang's expression. Still not leaving. Do you want me to personally kick you out? With difficulty, Shen Tang said, I came to find you. He wanted to hand the lunchbox in his hand to the man. However, he looked as if he had seen some terrible monster. He pushed him away. Thankfully, Shen Tang was heavy enough. Otherwise, I would definitely fall flat on my face. Ryder looked at me like I was a piece of dirty trash. Get lost and don't let me see you again. Because seeing this ridiculous scene, I feel so helpless inside. This ugly fatty even wants to steal my man. She's really dreaming. Alan, haven't you told him about our relationship yet? Ryder sneered. Does this prince need his permission to want other women? You thought you were watching Fatty get completely abandoned by Ryder. He no longer hides it and raises his chin. Ale has agreed to marry me. If you have any self-awareness, take out half of your property and sign this divorce agreement. The commotion here also attracted whispers from onlookers. How dare Shen Tang question Prince Ryder? He should take a good look at himself. He's ugly and fat. How could he be worthy of Ryder? But after all, he and Ryder are married. Any female would be angry if this happened, right? I heard the merfolk's mating season is coming soon. Prince Ryder doesn't look for other females. Is he really going to mate with that fat pig? These malicious words caused everyone to burst into laughter. Ryder felt even more humiliated hearing these words. Marrying this ugly fat woman is the biggest shame in his life. The most regretful thing I've ever done. It's marrying you. You fat, ugly waste of space. You dragged me down to this backwater. If you know what's good for you, divorce me now, so I can get out of this hellhole. Shen Tang was used to all kinds of vicious curses. Now he's as thick-skinned as a dead pig. I didn't mean to bother you. I just made something and wanted you to try it. Ryder's face darkened. Is this fat woman trying to do something stupid again? Shen Tang didn't know what the man in front of him was thinking. He had just handed out the lunchbox. When Ryder threw it to the ground, the broth instantly spilled all over the floor. See or not, you still want to use those dirty tricks against me. Do you think I'm as stupid as Xiaoyang? Shen Tang's grievances and radicalism of the past few days erupted. He bit his lip and endured. Even if you don't like it, I won't bother you again in the future. Ming Wei hurriedly reminded Alan. Quick, have him sign the divorce agreement. Lead came back to his senses. Quickly open the divorce agreement in the optical computer. This female has suffered such humiliation today. She definitely can't live like this anymore. He thought she would accept the humiliation. However, he suddenly heard a cold laugh. Okay. If you want a divorce, kneel down and beg me. Ryder looked surprised. He thought he had misheard. The onlookers were also full of disbelief. How dare this female talk back? Shouldn't she be trying to please Prince Ryder and win him back? Shen Tang coldly looked at the two in front of him. So what if this man is his target? It's not like he's a pushover with no temper. Why should he keep putting on a good face for him? Kneel down and beg me now, and I'll sign this divorce agreement for you. At this moment, the system's warning sounded in her mind. Host, you are violating the strategy rules. The male lead, Ryder, only has a rising aversion to you. Please stop as soon as possible. But Shen Tang ignored it and continued to provoke him. I'll wait until you beg me. I'll think about signing the divorce agreement for you. Otherwise, you'll never get rid of me, let alone be intimate with your mistress. After saying that, he strode away in front of everyone. Instead of mentally draining myself, I might as well go crazy and bother others. Because he was so angry that he almost gritted his back teeth. How dare this female scold him for being a mistress? Ryder didn't expect that Shen Tang would really leave without pestering him any further. It's as if he's become a different person. On the contrary, he felt a kind of strange feeling that he couldn't explain. Shen Tang felt refreshed on the way back. Conquering men like that is really not suitable for a venomous woman like me. The system crackles with electricity. A heartless warning. Host, don't forget, if you can't capture the male lead, you can't return to the real world. Hearing this, the smile on Shen Tang's face instantly froze. I'm screwed. He was only focused on enjoying himself. That mermaid's affection. He must have fallen. Unexpectedly, the next second, the system suddenly issued a notification. Congratulations, host. The male lead, Ryder, has increased his favorability by 30. Shen Tang was dumbfounded. He embarrassed that proud merman, and he still gets favorability points. Could it be that dog of a man likes being scolded? Looks like I can't be too nice to him. The more rebellious he is, the more I can provoke his unwillingness. Shen Tang returned to his residence. He used the skin cream again before going to bed at night. When he woke up the next day, he hurried to the mirror. From a distance, the acne on his face was almost invisible. His skin was also fairer and cleaner, although he still had problems with large pores and blackheads. But overall, she was just an ordinary woman with bad skin. Shen Tang saw the changes in her face, and her heart was filled with joy. Even her resentment vanished without a trace. But when she touched the mountain of fat on her stomach, she still sighed. So she started going out to run around the streets every morning and evening. Passers-by cast strange looks at her on the street. What's wrong with this fat woman? Why is she yelling so early in the morning? Strange, have you noticed? This fat woman doesn't seem as ugly as before. She doesn't look as repulsive anymore. As Shen Yi walked in, he heard whispers all around him. He couldn't help but frown. I heard that Shen Tang and Ryder had a big fight yesterday. Could it be that after this stimulation, he's really determined to lose weight? Shen Tang was panting and sweating. The system suddenly prompted, congratulations host. The male lead Shen Yi's favorability has increased. Currently, his aversion is at 20. When Shen Tang looked up, he saw Shen Yi walking towards him. The spices you asked me to find for you. See if MSG and peppercorns are among them. Of course, these are all basic seasonings, but they are quite complete. Shen Tang looked down to check the seasonings, unaware that Shen Yi's eyes held a hint of surprise. It's only been 2 days. This female, the acne on her face is almost gone. He was doubtful, but he didn't ask much. Shen Tang plans to travel. He promised to leave him a meal at home. Master Shen remembered the meat soup that day. Its deliciousness made him unforgettable. Later, he searched all the chefs in the city but couldn't find it. He was about to nod in agreement, but suddenly received an urgent message from the team, and had to leave in a hurry. It turned out that the city lord had issued a rallying order, requiring the city's hunters to gather, because some time ago, the team sent out of the city had not been contacted. Perhaps they had already met with misfortune. The city lord is leading the team out to rescue them himself. Just then, The system suddenly issued a mission. Congratulations, host, you've triggered a side quest. Go to the contaminated area with the army. Complete the mission to receive a reward and restore your mental strength. At this moment, at the city gate, nearly 1,000 armored warriors are ready to go. Armored vehicles and fighter jets are parked not far away. An atmosphere of tension and solemnity pervades everywhere. Shintang frowned slightly upon arriving. The mission issued by the system must be related to the male lead. Could it be that Yu Shofu encountered an accident outside the city? He walked closer and found only 3 Shufus were present. When Ryder saw Shintang approaching, a strong disgust flashed in his eyes. Leng snorted and got up and strode away. Next to him was a tall man with long silver hair. Shintang recognized him as the original owner's snake show husband. Zhu Zhangqiang didn't even bother to look at him. In comparison, only Shen Yi's attitude towards him was slightly better. He frowned when he saw him coming. What does this female want to do? The audience whispered to each other. The city lord only allows females with a mental strength of C grade or above to join the army. Male beastmen fighting in polluted areas for extended periods are highly prone to mental agitation, and only the mental strength of females can provide comfort. Shintang, this good-for-nothing without any mental strength. What are you doing here? The city lord's eyes swept over Shintang darkly. He scolded him to leave quickly. This is not a place to mess around. Shintang ignored these mocking words. I'm not here to make trouble. I want to join the army. The city lord showed even more disgust. Do you know where we are going this time? If you don't leave, don't blame me for getting people involved. Shintang quickly spoke up. I know you're going to the B405 contaminated area to find the missing team. City Lord Wen Yang flashed a hint of surprise. I originally thought this female was trying to cause trouble again. I didn't expect him to come prepared, but then I suddenly realized, knowing that, you still dare to follow. That place is a cumulative pollution zone. The weak get swallowed up, leaving no bones behind. You don't even have mental powers. Going there will only make you a burden. No one on the battlefield cares if you live or die. Shintang ignored his sarcasm and said sincerely, just let me come along. You don't have to worry about me if there's danger. After a moment of thought, the city lord said, then you can come along. Before we go, everyone has to sign a death waiver. If you die, there won't even be anyone to collect your body. The city lord didn't really intend to let Shintang go. He wouldn't be able to explain himself if the imperial princess really died. He just doesn't want to be pestered. At this crucial moment, he thought Shintang would be scared off by this death guarantee, but he didn't expect him to sign his name so readily. Both Ryder and Yukikura Kyu were surprised to see him sign the death guarantee. They all thought this female was very afraid of death. Why are you acting up and insisting on coming? The team will start moving in half an hour. The flying orcs will transform into beasts and scout ahead. The orcs behind will ride in armored vehicles and fighter jets. In a team of thousands, there are only a dozen females. They've been allocated 2 separate armored personnel carriers. Shintang is among them. The last one to get on the train was the city lord's daughter, Abe. There were clearly empty seats across the aisle, but she had to come up to Shintang to provoke him. Could you make some room? There aren't enough seats to begin with. You're big, but takes up the space of 3 people. Now we have nowhere to sit. Exactly. I'm so anxious. Even his follower chimes in. Do you guys smell a sour, sweaty odor? Who hasn't showered for days? It stinks. The fatter you are, the more you sweat. Shintang never takes a shower. It must be coming from him. Shintang's fat body sweats buckets with the slightest movement. But he just showered this morning. He's sure he doesn't smell at all. These people are obviously ostracizing him. Seeing he doesn't speak, they become more arrogant. Why don't you get off and run after the car, you fat pig? That way you can lose weight. Ha ha ha, that's a good suggestion. Soon, the carriage was filled with whistling sounds. But at this moment, Shintang suddenly stood up, startling the group of females. He looked down at the female who had spoken earlier. Was it you, female, who suggested that I get off the bus? He was already ugly, and the twitching of the flesh on his face made him look even more ferocious. He actually scared the female into turning pale, stammering to indicate that I was just talking. Shintang coldly swept the other people in the carriage again. The original owner was tall, fat, and stout, standing there like a small hill. The oppressive feeling was extremely strong. Those females in front of him were like weak little chicks. Let me see, who else thinks it's crowded? Say one more word, and I'll kick him down there. It's nice and wide outside. The females were instantly silenced by the gun. Even Abe felt a sense of wildness. If this ugly freak really goes crazy, weighing in at 300 to 400 pounds, one punch could send them to their graves. How could a bunch of weak females stand up to that? So, everyone in the carriage obediently shut their mouths. Shintang's ears were finally at peace. It seems the only way to deal with these people is with evil. As the vehicle went deeper, the scenery outside slowly changed. The vegetation became more and more lush, but live animals were rarely seen. A faint grey mist filled the air. Shintang felt a little uneasy. Just then, the system's voice rang out, "Congratulations, host. You have completed the side mission of accompanying the army to the B405 contaminated area. Mental strength recovery is now automatically activated. At that moment, suddenly, a roar that shook the mountains came from not far away. It was the zombie horde. They are besieging a lone Black Panther. And the panther, as if fueled by the carnage, tears the approaching zombies to shreds. But as the fight continues, his mind becomes more and more confused, and the scene before him begins to distort. Then, several armored vehicles break through the fog and stop at the edge of the battlefield. The car door opens quickly. Several orcs in white uniforms jump out. The medical team has found Xiaoyang. Hurry over and save him. However, a fierce light flashes in the Black Panther's eyes. He suddenly turns around and roars at the approaching medical team. Damn, Xiaoyang has lost his mind. Someone shouted in terror. More orcs jumped out of the armored vehicles, trying to subdue Black Panther. But facing Xiaoyang in a berserk state, they were simply helpless. Just as the situation was about to get out of control, several fighter jets flew by at low altitude, quickly dropping several electronic capture nets. The net flickers with blue electricity, accurately covering the panther's body. The electric current instantly penetrates the flesh, but it doesn't succeed in stunning him. Instead, it makes the panther even more manic. A strange black mist surrounds him. That is the corpse transformation of mental mania, almost devouring him. The females in the carriage were already trembling with fear. Just then, Shen Tang heard the system's announcement in his mind. Host, a side quest has been triggered. Help the male lead, Xiaoyang, overcome his mental frenzy. Reward for completing the task, a weight loss recipe. Shen Tang was surprised. Is that Xiaoyang outside? I didn't have time to think, so I quickly got out of the car. The crowd surrounded Black Panther. Even Shen Yulade and the others were among them. A look of unbearable sadness flashed across their faces, as if they saw their own tragic future ending. Lade strode over and roared at Shen Tang. How dare you show your face? Appear. If it weren't for you, Xiaoyang wouldn't have become like this. Shen Tang is baffled. What does this have to do with him? Only then did he learn from the bear system that male orcs fighting in the contaminated area for a long time will cause mental riots. The longer the time, the more severe the mental rampage. And Shen Tang never gave mental comfort to her 5 beast husbands, which led to Xiaoyang losing control and becoming a beast. The city lord looked at the trapped Black Panther with a very solemn expression. Xiaoyang is a powerful S-class beastman. To provide him with mental soothing, at the very least, it would require a top-notch female. Needless to say about Shen Tang, he's a good-for-nothing who lost his mental power. Abe, who has the strongest mental power here, is only at a B level. The city lord naturally doesn't want his daughter to risk being completely zombified. Zombies are even more terrifying than the infected. The only option is forced euthanasia. Knowing what the city lord was thinking, and hurriedly stopped him, crying, "Father, you can't hurt Xiaoyang. Let me try. Xiaoyang is a favorite male. He absolutely can't die." The city lord roared in disappointment. Nonsense. He's already in this state. Don't go making trouble for me. He knows what his daughter feels for Xiaoyang. It's really not honorable to be eyeing someone with 7 wives. But privately, he also acknowledges Xiaoyang's strength. If he could really bring him over, it would be a huge help. So usually, he turns a blind eye. But Xiaoyang is now more dangerous than the pollution. This is not a joke. Dad, trust me. Let me give it a try. Abe is confident. As long as he can successfully appease Xiaoyang's mental riot, once the man wakes up, he will willingly submit to him. The Benny will definitely be interested in him too, and become his subjects. Just thinking about that scene, Abe is getting excited. It's worth taking the risk. Shen Tang frowned, looking into the distance. If we keep dragging on like this with Black Panther, he'll either die from mental breakdown, or be shot to death. Let me go. Shen Tang's sudden words silenced the entire room. Mocked by Ban, what can you, a waste, do? Only I can save him now. You better stay there and don't interfere with my business. Shen Tang didn't bother to explain. He walked straight towards the Black Panther. The orcs and females were puzzled. The city lord also frowned, but in the next second, a dark glint flashed in his eyes again. He didn't tell anyone to stop her. If this princess is seeking death, then he can't stop this bothersome female from dying. His daughter has a chance to bribe those beast husbands. Why not? Ban stamped her feet in anger. That trash dares to say he's in the way, but he doesn't dare to rush forward. He's seen the terror of being berserk. That trash would have been torn to pieces in the past. Just the right time to test him. The tranquilizer on Black Panther is working. He's lying on the ground, temporarily unable to resist. But the moment Shen Tang approached, he suddenly jumped up and tackled him to the ground. The crowd instantly erupted in chaos. The sedative actually doesn't work on a berserk high-level orc. Shen Tang is dead for sure. Abe Kenzo's eyes flashed with delight. He couldn't wait for the Black Panther to bite Shen Tang's neck. The next second, everyone present showed a look of shock. The scene of flesh and blood flying didn't happen. Instead, a white light appeared in Shen Tang's palm, slowly dispelling the Black Panther. The black mist surrounding it. This is mental power. Shen Yi, Ryder, and Zhu Kang and the others, looking at the white light emerging from his palm. The expressions of disgust or amusement on their faces quickly disappeared. At this moment, Shen Tang's desire to live reached its peak. He desperately concentrated his mental power. He wasn't from this world. He had never used mental power before. He thought it would be difficult, but unexpectedly, moving with his mind was competitively useful. Shen Tang increased the output of his mental power. The black mist around the panther is fading. Once the black mist completely disappears, the panther loses all its strength and collapses. Shen Tang seems to see. The panther give him a deep look before passing out. It's unclear if it regained its sanity. The military doctor examines the panther's condition and is overjoyed. Xiao Yang's mania level has actually dropped to normal. Originally, his mental mania had exceeded 90. Even with a female to soothe him, it was hopeless, unless there's an S rank. But isn't Shen Tang this good for nothing? Didn't he lose his mental power long ago? Could it be that his mental power has recovered? Abe stared at Shen Tang with venomous eyes. This is absolutely impossible. Shen Tang, this ugly freak, must have done something. Shen Tang had just gotten up when he heard the system's broadcast in his mind. Congratulations to the host. Rider's favorability increased by 15. Zukang 9's favorability increased by 19. Master Shen's favorability skyrocketed. Disgust has now been overcome. Current favorability is high enough for a time reward skin repair. Before Shen Tang could rejoice, his vision went black, and he fell forward. Shen Yi, who was closest, quickly supported him in his arms. He turned to look at the approaching military doctor. What's wrong with him? His voice containing, mixed with a hint of, tension that he himself didn't even notice. The doctor gave Shen Tang an examination. The female's physique is too poor. Overuse of mental power has caused physical exhaustion. She'll be fine after an injection of nutrients and some rest. Ryder just thinks this fat woman is getting what she deserves, and she still dares to delay the divorce. What a lecherous and useless idiot. I told him to eat less. He fainted just by using mental power. What a weakling. All right, say less. Take him to the medical room. Shen Yi frowned and said, no matter what, they are Shen Tang's subordinates. We can't let anything happen to him. Ryder's eyes are full of disgust. You carry him. Take him away. I can't lift him when he's this fat. After speaking, he walked away. Zhu Sangjie glanced faintly at the unconscious Shen Tang. He didn't say anything. He turned around and disappeared in an instant. Shen Yi gritted his teeth and cursed them inwardly. He picked up the unconscious Shen Tang, daring not to go to the medical room. Luckily, he was a strong male from the 6 realms. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be able to carry this 300-pound fat woman. An hour later, Shen Tang slowly woke up. The system's voice sounded in time. Congratulations to the host for successfully completing the side quest. Help the male lead reduce inflammation and overcome mania. Reward, 1 weight loss pill. Shen Tang happily went to take it, but received a message saying that the city lord wanted to see him. At this time, the city lord was holding a grey gemstone. This is used to test the mental strength of females. His face showed deep contemplation and ruthlessness. If this princess really recovers her S-level mental strength, that is the ambassador, who caused a national sensation. You know, in the history of the empire, there have only been 3 SG females in total. Now that the princess is in his hands, she has naturally become his bargaining chip. If he uses her to threaten the empire, maybe it can help him leave this contaminated land. Although that's what I think in my heart. But he still put on a kind and amiable face. Shen Tang, your successful rescue of Xiao Yang was witnessed by everyone present. Everyone knows you've suffered a lot this year. But as long as you recover your spiritual power, everyone will respect and love you. Shen Tang nodded and said nothing. Of course, he didn't know the city lord's little plans. But after testing, his mental power showed only C grade. This made the city lord incredulous. After all, he rescued an S grade orc who was about to collapse. This can only be done by the legendary S grade mental power. At least it must be mental power. But Shen Tang is only C grade. How is that possible? But the testing machine doesn't make mistakes. In the end, he could only guess. Perhaps this Shen Tang is just a final burst of energy before completely losing her mental power. After leaving the tent, Shen Tang also asked the system in confusion. Didn't you say my mental power was restored? Why is it only C level? The system's mechanical voice sounded in my mind. Please, host, don't trust anyone. This is the capital of sinful exiles. These desperados will sell you out for profit. If an SG mental power female has no power to protect herself, she will become a piece of meat fought over by all sides. City Lord Gear harbors ill intentions. We can't let him know the host's true level. Shen Tang suddenly understood. So, you deliberately concealed my mental strength level. Yes, I can modify the display results during mental tests. But the host now, actually, my spiritual power isn't at S level. Because the host's spiritual power was abnormally damaged, it will take a long time to recover. The specific reason, only by returning to the Empire can I get the answer. Shen Tang didn't dwell on this issue. He returned to the makeshift changing room to take the slimming pill. After his body discharged the oil, he took a shower. Congratulations to the host for losing 41 pounds. Charm value +6. although the weight loss value is not as good as the first time. From a visual point of view, this time the body change is more obvious, but rapid weight loss in a short time. The skin's elasticity can't keep up. Shen Tang discovered. The skin on my arms and stomach became very loose. Prompted by the system, he used the skin repair cream he'd been rewarded before. The repair cream's function took effect quickly. Only a few minutes passed, and the loose skin on his body became firm again. Shen Tang was fairly satisfied with his current condition. It's just that 239 pounds is still too clumsy. He needs to find a way to get more weight loss orders. It's late at night, and after a day, orcs who have been fighting are most eager for female comfort. Most females sleep with their husbands, but Shen Tang knows his place. He didn't bother Shen Yi and the others, but when he turned his head, Shen Tang saw Ryder leaning against a tree not far away. He thought he was dreaming. He ran over and asked, "What are you doing here?" The young man tilted his head and looked at him. "I'm on patrol tonight, so I came to take a look around, to see if you're dead." Shen Tang's lips twitched. This man's words are really harsh. "So I should die to make way for your next one. This fish is constantly talking about divorce." Shen Tang suddenly thought of him and that mistress. So he couldn't help but curl his lips in mockery. "Weren't you clamoring to divorce me before? Have you thought it through today? Want to find a place where no one is around to kneel to me?" Laird sneered, unprovoked. The next moment, she suddenly leaned forward, pinching his chin. "How come I suddenly find you've lost weight?" He stared at him, looking him up and down, making sure he wasn't mistaken. This fat woman had indeed lost weight, and her skin had become firm, delicate, and smooth. Did she get liposuction? She was so ugly before, but tonight, she looks much better. Thinking back to the changes in this fat woman these past few days, it makes him a little puzzled. Ryder can't deny it. He has indeed become a little curious about this fat woman. Because they were so close, Shen Tang could smell the boy. That fresh, oceanic scent on him made him feel a little dizzy. This man used to be disgusted even to look at him, but today, he actually touched him, and even seemed to be making other moves.